very busy person, and well, I'm very fortunate to meet you again. Well, why we are here? That's this Bangladesh, this trade, this textiles, and this is one of the sectors which is contributing extensively in our economy. The 75% of what foreign exchange is earning from textiles, and you're working for AMC as a CEO, and we're exporting to US as well as in Europe. You're exclusively working for US.
US and Europe also.
US and Europe also. Yeah. But you know that after the TDA, this 2000, the Trade Development Act of 2000, which made a big setback in our country for the export of garments and textiles. So now what I want to know, that's how this country can survive and what is the prospect of this trade? What do you think? What is the prospect of this trade after this act passed off of 2000, TDA 2000? What is your opinion?
Actually, I think that the Bangladesh is still the very much potential country. We do have a lot of we able to prove our capability that we can compete in the duty-free country as well as the quota-free country. That in 2000, in October, when CBI bill and the Caribbean countries bill and the SSA, Sub-Saharan bill, it was passed. So, in worldwide, there were some assumption that in 2000 we were a little bit expensive. We do have understanding that our Bangladesh manufacturer, they thought earlier that they are the competitive in price point, but when these Caribbean countries and Sub-Saharan countries, African countries, where they got the duty-free access, then we realized, our vendors, they realized that they are not competitive, and that's why they lost some business. In 2001 first quarter and second quarter, if we review that business, so Bangladesh business was slow down at that time. Most of the business at that time is moved from this country to other countries. But later on, when vendors, they realized these things, so they did a lot of homework. So they tried to improve their cost efficiency, and after that they proved that they are competitive. Still, you can see that in third quarter and fourth quarter of last year, although in American economy there were the recessions, as well as after 11 September in 2001, the business was becomes very very slow down at that times. But Bangladesh vendors, when we compete globally, that's from 2000, a lot of buyers, they start up to place orders, and they are negotiating these things through e-commerce, which is the e-sourcing. We are calling the e-sourcing. So when we adapt these things, so vendors, they can negotiate price with the buyers, in the one times. That is the buyers also, they can invite all the vendors, and they can they can communicate the price, and the vendors also give they at the best price. So Bangladesh vendors, in that e-commerce, e-sourcings, they prove that they are capable, and they got a lot of business through
an e-commerce.
Yeah,
that's what you call it, auctions.
Auctions, yeah. And so that you can see this first quarter of this year going down. If we compare the 2000's price and 2001's price, the price, you can say that about 35% is cutting down.
Right.
So vendors, still they are surviving. They reduce their price. They are offering the low price. So they are trying to source out the fabric and accessories from outside of the country, because still we are one of the import-based country. So we are importing these things from USA, from Far East country, and vendors, they are trying to source out of these things in the low price, as well as they are trying to develop by their own resource. Like now in Bangladesh, we do have a lot of backward linkage facilities, and these backward linkage facilities, they can produce the fabric, so which is the world-class quality fabric, and the price-wise also, it is competitive. So we able, these vendors, they are able to prove in the world market that they are competitive. So I think that there is the, I mean, it is not true that, and we do not have the reason to be worried that our business will
That's
bring out.
good. That's very good. But as you said, that there is a bit of shift of a buyers from this country to the Caribbean countries and the sub-Saharas. But do you think they're coming back again to Bangladesh?
In some cases, like if the bulk item or the critical things, I mean, there are, because in the garments we do have the two type of things. One is the basic, one is the little bit fashionable and the trendy items. So fashionable, trendy items or critical items, I mean, this new region, I mean, like Caribbean countries or African countries, they are still, I mean, they are not capable to do, I mean,
the quality product, the desirable products.
Yeah. But maybe they can cover up these things, and maybe they can come back. Like now we are seeing that, I mean, especially the neat items. Neat items, most of the business, I mean, going to Caribbean countries because of the lead time, as well as this is the basic things. But if we see a little bit like cargo pants or the complicated things or even sweater, so they are not competitive because they are not capable. Competitive means, I mean, they are not capable to handle
making the quality product.
Yeah. So this business still, I mean, the Bangladesh is one of the potential country, and we.
But do you think they can make needs because they have a fabric there? What we have?
Yeah. Some vendors, I mean, they do have the facilities in Caribbean countries or African countries, like some Korean vendor, some Taiwanese vendor, some Singaporean vendor. They set up.
They set it up their factories there.
Yeah, they moved, I mean, some factory from maybe China or Korea or Taiwan to those countries.
So that will really hampers our business.
Right.
The buyers may shift out.
In needs, yes.
In needs it will.
Yeah.
But do you think they have the state of art, the thing that what we have in our country, like the very good machines, like the Germans and the other European machines? That's what we have set it up in our country for the quality product.
Yeah, the new entrepreneurs, I mean, who are coming, they are, I mean, they do have the good setups.
And that is in sub-Saharan countries?
Yeah, sub-Saharan countries also. Because we know one of our vendors, I mean, they are the Singaporean vendors, and they set up one facilities in Madagascar. And that's factory is one of the, I mean, the modern factories with, I mean, the state of arts equipments and.
But that's a need.
Yeah, needs.
Okay, well, first, as you look, as you said that we have, we attain a percentage of our quality, where we can really make the fashionable garments. But the basics are really going away. What do you think that we should do right now to sustain our buyer?
The thing is that we need to improve, I mean, three things. One is the price point. The price point we already developed. I believe that yes, we are now competitive in price point. But the other lacks we do have, that is the lead time. So we need to improve our lead time. So if we can improve our lead time, which is, I mean, if we have backward linkage facilities here, or I mean the government, I mean, if they can help, I mean, they can change the policy and procedures, and vendors, they can keep the grey fabric here, and I mean, always if they can keep, I mean, some certain quantity of fabrics to meet the, I mean, shortest lead times requirement.
I mean, we can reduce the lead time,
right?
And keep the fabric.
Yeah. And the another thing is that the performance, I mean, service. If vendor, they can keep up their commitment, if they can give the better service, and if they perform, I mean, well performer, then definitely business will.
But how did you find that our producers, because you're in this trade since long, that how professional they are to some extent? How much they attain the professional expertise?
Yeah, we do have. I mean, that is the major problem we do have. But now, it seems to me that our vendors, I mean, they are very much, I mean, aggressive, and they are trying to develop, I mean, this professionalism in their service and their way of work, and that's why, I mean, it's improving. Like here, I can say that the Beximco. 3 years back, I mean, when I had the meeting with them, they do not have any the fashion or the designing team. They don't have. I mean, actually, this market, I mean, Bangladesh market, it's set up. I mean, we are working. I mean, we are in this trade since 1980, but this market was focused as just cut and sewn market. but we are getting and we are just make the copy and the
Yeah.
cut and we are doing, I mean, everything. We are saying that we can do each and I mean everything, but we do not have the marketing, I mean, that expertise. So Beximco, they are, I think they are the, I mean, the key player. They are the pioneer, that they hired some designer from outside, and now they, I mean, last 3 years of time, I mean, they developed lots. Their designing team, they are, I mean, traveling, I mean, worldwide, and they are having the meeting, they are giving the presentations. I mean, they are working as the same as the, I mean, the domestic vendor. What the domestic vendors they do have, or local vendors they do not have. So these things, I mean, they develop. So now buyers, they are, I mean, they are saying that yes, I mean, the Bangladesh vendors also, they are capable. They can also develop some new things. They are doing the research, and they are giving the new things. So and they are placing the orders. But others, I mean, this is still, I mean, I can say that this is not even 1%. Even not, I mean, 0.1%, 0.1.
The buyers, they are very much interested for the commitment, not for the promise.
Yeah.
He wants commitment.
Right.
Because, and if you want to keep a commitment, you need a professional expertise, professional management,
Right.
professional thoughts. But what is in your opinion, that's how professional we are? As you said, there's not even a 1.1%. But if you really want to go for international markets, you should be committed.
Right.
Whatever you say, you mean it.
Right.
You mean
Yeah, I'm a hopeful, and I mean, the last couple of years, I mean, the activities, I mean, what I have seen, the vendors' activities, it seems to me that they are trying to be, I mean, professional. They are trying to keep up their commitment.
They're trying.
Still, we do have the problem, but I mean, they are trying, they are improving.
But it seems that they're improving.
Yes.
But if there's no other choice, because
Yes,
if you want to
without
work with
this, I mean,
you can't because you work with the international trades.
Yeah.
All right, the people they're not interested to know your excuses.
Right.
They're not interested for
Right.
your excuses. Regarding this price competitive markets, because the whole world is in a price war, and I had a chance to talk with one of a very big vendor. He said, Mr. Hassan, I don't know how can I fit my prices, and I cannot get some orders. And as you said, they're becoming a bit competitive, price competitive. But he said to me, we are not, because I don't know exactly what to cut on my prices. What do you think about these two scenarios? That he says I cannot fit in, and some of them are fit. How you think about it?
Actually, the thing is that I mean, most of our vendors, they are dependent, I mean, in the buying house, because what I told you earlier, that I mean, what I mentioned, that our vendors, I mean, they used to just to do the cut and sew. They don't know, I mean, how to do the merchandising, how to source out the fabric and accessories. So most of the vendors, I mean, in Bangladesh, we do have now, I mean, about 3,400 factories, but I mean, independently, as I mean, the full-fledged merchandising office, I mean, or full-fledged vendors, I mean, if we say, then I don't think that there will be more than 50 peoples, I mean, who can work in this way. So these 50 peoples, I mean, who do have, they are trying to develop the sourcing, I mean, for sourcing scale, and they do have the office in overseas also. They are doing some research work, trying to get the fabrics in better price. So they are, I say that they are competitive. So we are working in this market, I mean, with some of the major vendors. We are not working with a lot of people, so we are working with very selective people.
Mm-hmm.
So these selective people, it seems to be that they are, because they are coming up, and they are having the business, and they are, I mean, at the end of the day, they are getting the profit.
But it's also working for the buying houses, because this middleman takes out the prices, where he cannot fit in.
Right. Yeah.
So that means you want to say that we must go for a more better straight to straight business.
Right.
You can go to the buyers, straight to the buyers. You don't want a middleman.
Right.
So that you can become more competitive.
Right. Yes.
That can be the good ways. So that you think that we should do, right? It's good. But as you said in your discussion, so the government should take a vital role for the development of these sectors and to sustain this. What you exactly wanted to mean? The government, the role of a government in these sectors.
Actually, you see that the infrastructure, I mean, the port, I mean, if we see the port scenario, that's, I mean, we do have a lot of, I mean, that's also impacted in our business in the lead times, as well as some policy and procedure. Like in EPZ factories, they do have to meet some requirements of the government, otherwise they cannot move, they cannot freely work as the outside factories. In the same things, the customs. So if the government, if they make, if they review their policy and procedure as per the present needs and present requirement, if they review these things and if they take the, if they make the fasters, to take decisions, then I believe that it can help vendors also to cut down their lead times and to increase their efficiency. So in that way, we can improve.
Yeah, because the port takes a hell of a time to clear a container.
Right.
It takes about 7 to 8 days, 9 days.
Mm-hmm.
So taking a container from Chittagong to Dhaka ICD, and to clear the documents, it takes more than a week.
Right.
But I have an experience to travel to Singapore, where I got a chance to have a look to their port. They take no time, literally.
Yeah.
They take literally
only a few hours.
It's a few hours. It's a couple of hours.
Yeah.
And even they're trying to reduce that thing.
Right.
That how faster they can be.
Mm-hmm.
So government can play a vital role.
Yes.
At least to reduce the lead time.
Yes.
And to what you said, that they can really expedite the jobs.
Yes.
The role of a government.
Right.
And the port is one of the hindrance in our expediting the jobs.
Yes.
Yeah, many of the people that says about it. But what do you think that the owner right now, those are really having a really bad time because of this price war and the shift of those buyers from this country to the Sub-Saharas and Caribbean countries? What do you think they should do? What will be their role right now to really gain their buyers again?
Here I think that our vendors also, they need to, things globally, not just only the country wise, because you see the buyers, when they place the orders, they need some sorts of guarantee that they will have this merchandise in their floor. Because but if our vendors, if we are concentrating only in the local markets and local strength, where you see that here we need, for the US business, we need to depend on the quota. And this quota market, it is still, there are a lot of discrepancies there. There is a lot of forgery, and there is, due to poor management, we do have the problem every year. Like you see, the last year the business was very bad in Bangladesh. But although, the two category, it's a hit embargo. This year, a lot of vendors, they have taken the order, even they don't have the quota.
They've taken the order,
but they don't have the quota. They thought that they may be buy the quota from the market and they can execute these things. So
which is those 647 and
like 347.
347.
Yeah, 347. You see that present the last year, this times the quota premium was about $20, $25 like that, and this year the premium now is about $57, $58.
That means that there is some orders coming back again.
Yeah, orders is there, but some people, who do not have the quota, they have taken the business orders, and as they do not have quota, so they need to buy the quota to perform this business.
Absolutely.
So when they are going to the market, they are not getting the quota, because some the vendors who do have the quota, maybe they do not have the orders, but they are thinking still that they will get the orders. So quota, it is not, the demand is not as per, the supply is not as per the demand. Yeah. So that's why the premium is going very high. So this type of things, it can also very bad for the country's business also.
Absolutely.
Because if buyers, they do not get, those vendors who took that order, if they do not have the quota, they no need to take these orders.
Right.
Because just based on the assumptions, if they have taken these things also. So
will create a bad image to the buyer.
Yes. Buyers say that, okay, maybe Bangladesh vendors, they are like this. When they do not have the business, they are giving the very best price, and they are, begging for the business. But when they do have the business and they do not have, due to the poor management, they could not execute that one.
So they cannot commit. They are not committed.
Right. So, and when the price is going up, at that time, a lot of discrepancy, like the forgery, quota forgery is also going on. So sometimes there is a possibility to have, some vendors who do have the quota, the genuine vendor who have the quota, but he couldn't ship the material because he is planning that he will ship these things maybe in October or September.
Right.
But some, I mean, the wrong quota or wrong paper, I mean, documentation wise, I mean, if it is shipped and if it reach in USA, so our, I mean, there is a possibility to have the embargo. So although have the quota, but they cannot ship these things. I mean, some genuine vendor they cannot ship. So I mean, this is also the bad thing. So to get the business and to give the confidence to the buyers, I believe that our vendors also, they need to have, I mean, some sorts of production facilities in outside of the country, I mean, the duty free or quota free country.
Absolutely.
So it can help them as, I mean, like to increase their business, because this can be, I mean, one tools of the marketing. Like
Right.
Korean, you say that they, I mean, they are one of the, I mean, the expensive country. Their wages is very high.
Absolutely.
The product and cost is also very
They
high.
can afford it now.
Yeah, but still they are in the business. They move their business. I mean, they are. I mean, they are doing the fabric in Korea, some better quality fabric which they are selling with best price, and they do have the factory like in Bangladesh. They have factory in Caribbean country. They have factory in Sri Lanka. I mean, or African country. So they are balancing. I mean, if there is a problem, so they can move the business to other countries, and they're doing like this way. The India and Pakistan recently they also comes up. I mean, we do have some vendors in Pakistan. Now they have the production facilities in African
Caribbean
country.
countries?
African country.
Okay.
Not, they did not have one vendor. They have Caribbean countries production facility, but most of the vendors they have production facilities in Caribbean country, African country, Jordan, Israel, as and even in China also. So they are, I mean, they play around their business, I mean, with this duty-free and quota-free country, and then balancing. And buyers also, I mean, they do not have the headache. They know that, I mean, okay, if I place these orders to the vendor Mr. X, I mean, I will not have any problem. I will get the orders.
He's in peace.
Right. So in the Bangladesh, I mean, our vendors now, I mean, nowadays we do have some vendors. I mean, they do have the production facility in outside also.
You know, of our people?
Yeah.
That's good.
And like, I mean, some vendors, I mean, they do have the factory in Bahrain. Some vendors, they do have the factory in Jordan, Amman. Some vendors, they do have the factory in Cambodia.
They are Bangladeshis.
Bangladeshis. So these things, and other vendors, they are also, I mean, thinking. So if they do have, so I think there should not be a
because
problem.
this vendors can work globally.
Right, and buyers, they also, I mean, prefer to do business with one person. They do not want to do the business with a lot of persons. So if they knows that, yeah, okay, I know OPEX garments. So if OPEX they do have, and they are the capable to give them the product, so they don't mind to place the orders to OPEX. OPEX, maybe they can receive this order here, even they can do the production in Korea. Maybe they can do the production in Madagascar. They can ship out. So this type of things
should come up.
Yeah.
And you think that our vendors should think globally,
right,
rather than just locally and working here,
right,
because we don't fit in there.
Yeah.
But how do you think about this? That's what you said about the backward linkage. How this backward linkage can facilitate us? Because some of the schools of thoughts, some of the institutions says that backward linkage will not be feasible in our country. What is in your opinion?
Yeah, I mean, if we do the basic items, like you see the China or India, they do have some textile industries which they set up 40 years back or 30 years back. So they already, I mean, their cost of, I mean, investment, everything's they already, I mean, taken out, and they are, I mean, they develop their skillness also to make like twill fabric or some, I mean, the basic fabric. So I mean, nowadays, I mean, in Bangladesh, our entrepreneur, I mean, when they are investing in textile industries, they are buying the new technology, new machinery, which is the, I mean, much expensive comparing those 30 years or 40 years.
Yes, that's right.
And if we need to do the same item, if we need to fight with this Indian and Chinese and those means, I mean, who are doing their very basic and regular items, if we need to do the same thing, then definitely we will not be, I mean, competitive. So our vendors, I mean, they need to think a little bit different way. They need to develop something new things. I mean, they need to have some creativity, innovative things.
Mm-hmm.
Like Korea, Japan, Taiwan, still they are doing the business in textile trade.
Right.
They are expensive, but still they are doing the good business. So if we can do in the same way, definitely.
What kind of creativity, innovation that you think that
Value-added items.
Value-added items.
Yeah.
Have the expertise?
Yes.
We are intelligent to
Right.
do that.
Right. So
Munno they started.
Yeah.
But Munno have gone into only for the textiles.
Textile. I mean, the same fabric. I'm talking about.
They were talking about the fabric. So they're coming up with the innovative ideas, new designs, and they're coming up with the international standards.
Right.
And they wanted to know that's what Empire wanted. That's good. But regarding the quality, because do you think that we really achieve the international standard of quality?
Yeah, we are. Otherwise, I mean, how we are surviving?
So we attained a quality standard.
Yeah.
But if you rate it, where we are compared to those are the giants like Indians and.
I mean, every country they do have their own expertise, and their specialties also. I mean, in their own thing, but they have their own flavor. I can say, Bangladesh. I mean, what India are doing. Maybe we cannot do the same thing, but what we are doing, India, they cannot copy the same thing.
Okay.
Like China, yes, definitely China. I mean, China is a huge country.
Right.
Their, efficiency, their quality works, and their way of works. Yes, I mean, if we compare ourselves with Far East country, I mean, any Far East country, yes, we are not. I mean, at that much of a skill. In Southeast Asia, we can say like Sri Lanka. What Sri Lankan people or Sri Lankan vendors they knows. We are not like that, but we are. I mean, we can say in Southeast Asia. I mean, after Sri Lanka, I mean Bangladesh. I mean, we do have. We achieved that efficiency and we do have that expertise. But India and Pakistan, they are still. Behind us. But they do have a little bit different, like the cottage industries and some other things.
Right.
The hand.
They make them value added, more value added.
Right, like that.
Which are more fashionable ones.
Right. So, I mean, we are. I can say that we are in the middle range. We are not. Or we can say that we are in average. We are not above average. We are not below average.
Okay.
So we are in average.
But one thing, like Mr. Iqbal, that when I visit and I made a lot of my research work on it. I found that most of the factories they make lots of wastage.
Yes.
And our productivity, we are not really. We can say that our production efficiency has gained a lot.
Yes, you're right.
And I made a couple of researches where we found about 50 to 55% line efficiency they're running, whereas they can really attain 80% if they introduce like the professional management, like work study of scientific management and all.
Yeah.
We can gain much better productivity.
You're right.
And when we can be more competitive in pricing. What do you think about it?
Yes, you're right. You see that we are doing. For AMC, I just would like to tell you that AMC we are working here. We are not doing the only business here. We are spending our about 25 to 30% times for the training to develop our vendors also. That how they can increase their efficiency, how they can increase their profitability, how they can reduce their the system loss. So this the main problem is if you go to the EPZ factories and if you review the the outside factory, you can see that the total management way of working is different. Even the foreign management and the local management, both factories in EPZ, but if you compare their way of working, you can see there's a lot of difference.
There's a loss of management.
Right. So we think the problem is the local, the outside of the local management factories. That's we do have the poor management. We do not have the system and procedure, and our vendors. They do not do the time motion study.
Absolutely.
They don't know. They are just doing the business based on their assumption. Though how many pieces you can do is 100 pieces. Oh, they are calculating like this way, but they are not doing the actual the research work. That how much time is required.
What is the strength is?
Right.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Where is their the shortfall and what is their strength? They don't know that. So the good thing is that now the vendors they are realizing. The major vendors. Who we are working, they are very much cooperative and they are very much. They understood these things, so they realize and they are working very hard to improve these things, and we are getting the good results.
I do believe that if we don't bring the professional expertise, we cannot really long run. We cannot survive.
Right.
Because of the price war.
Yeah. It is per hour is 100 pieces, but out of 100 pieces, if you review the whole thing, then you can get 20 pieces is reject.
Absolutely.
So they are spending in 1 hour they are paying the money for 1.5 hours and they are getting only 80 pieces. Because if you
absolutely
rectify these things, so this
again you're paying more.
Right.
Absolutely, because this is what we also observed in our research. We have lots of research work on it, and well, we found that on an average, 20% they have the system loss.
Yeah, yeah.
They make 20 pieces, and 100 pieces, 20% is a loss. Again, if you look into the production efficiency, it's running with 55 or 52%.
Yeah.
So we are losing everywhere.
Right.
And if you lose like this, and if you cannot attain a professional expertise, then we cannot be more professional.
Yeah. Yeah.
And do you agree with it?
Yes, I agree with
And we need to develop professional expertise.
Yes. Yes.
That is what you believe too.
Yes. Yes.
And well, thank you very much. But what is your message, overall message to this trade? What is your message being expertise?
My message is that it should be like we need to look at our efficiency. We need to develop our efficiency. We need to look at our price, that how we can be competitive, and in the same time we need to work to reduce our lead time, as well as we need to work for the creative items, like the value-added items. No need to fight or run for just the basic items. So if we do have, if we can develop our expertise in marketing, like what domestic vendors in USA they are doing, or the Korean or Taiwanese or the European vendors, vendors or buyer, mainly the vendors, they are in Bangladesh, they are like buyer. So what they are doing, how they are working, how they are doing the research work, how they are giving the presentation. So if we able, our vendors, they able to improve these things, if they develop these things, then definitely I believe that Bangladesh still, they will be the key player. After 2004, they will be, the key player in the market, this apparel market. But the market is very big.
Market is very big, and we have the potential.
Yes, yes.
But this one thing I want to say, that the supportive services like freight forwardings and this, how do you think they are coming up? Are they very professionals in doing the jobs? Like Air Express, for example. Like DHL, because they are supportive organizations.
Right.
DHL, then FedEx. How do you rate them?
Their service-wise, I say that yes, they are. They are in good position. But the problem is that infrastructure. Like if we do not have, you see that now everybody's. They are working. Through computers, the e-commerce, the tracking, everything. We like to do in website.
Right.
But if we do not have high speed lines, how they can give, how we can assure that we can give the better service. Like we also introduce here like e-packet. Mm-hmm. Now we do not want to send any courier or anything. Everybody will, and the vendors also, we are suggesting them that they can update all the production status data, and even the invoice, packing, the shippings, everything they can do through the online through our website. But the problem is that we do not have high speed lines. So if we do not have the high speed line, sometimes buyers, they would like to send the image or the pictures. We need to send it to them.
Absolutely.
So if we do not have the high speed line, we cannot exchange our, we cannot receive this thing in faster way, because now time is very important. Yeah, time is money.
Time is money.
So if we take about 3 or 5 days and then do the costing and then send this thing, so it is time consuming. So we need, if I believe that if governments, they also allow these things, and the private telecommunications and other things.
Like you're talking about the high speed, like a submarine, submarine cables and all.
Yeah.
That can really help in the development of the street.
Yeah, you see that, we have our AMC is the global office, global sourcing and market developing office. We do have the office in 59 countries. We have our own mainframe that is in USA, and to link up these systems, we are using communication service lines, that is CETA. So CETA is the service provider who are giving us the link to run these systems in between this all over the world. But government, they are not allowing them to give the high speed lines. Still they are giving us 9.6 kbps, whereas we need 256 minimum kbps. Sometimes we need to do the video conference,
right?
Because we cannot, vendors, they cannot fly back to fly and go to America every time. So we can solve a lot of problems. I mean, here to make the communications. I mean, through like video conference. So we do have the equipment, because sometimes like the feed samples, it is always, I mean, it is getting failed. And buyers, they are trying to, I mean, the technical people, they are trying to educate vendors, I mean, through emails or writings, but maybe our vendors, they cannot understand that thing. So if we do have the video conference system, so we can, I mean, talk each other's, I mean, lively.
Yeah.
That is, I mean, here in city in Bangladesh.
Yeah, you can
and we
save your
solve-
time.
Yeah. So these things, I mean, we need, I mean.
And if you can make a video conference, like you're in the same office.
Same office. I mean, what we are talking about, we can.
In the same
each
office,
other.
like what we're talking about.
Yeah.
Because this is really this we are far behind.
Far behind, and
we are
that's
far
it.
behind.
Yeah.
And
And
the
it is
government
also-
can play a better role
yeah,
here.
right.
That should be the better role that government
Yeah.
should come forward.
Definitely.
Thank you, Mr. Iqbal. Thank you very much for giving your ideas and thoughts.
Thank you.
And so we will try to disseminate your thoughts to our country people.
Okay.
And I hope that the people should come up, and I believe that you will make your contribution to this nation.
Thank you.
Thank you very much
Thank
once
you.
again.